And now we got Matt, and he's a total bore. So we got to get crazy people back, kind of helming the
Don't have an ego problem, right?
Right.
This show is trash.
Yeah.
Make it trash. Make
Please,
America
that's what
fall
we
in
need.
love with this show again.
I want to have fun and laugh a little. I haven't laughed once.
But we still haven't.
He sounded like Tim Meadows and Dewey Cox. You never paid for drugs. Not once. Sorry. My favorite movie. Go.
I forgot.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
And you never paid for drugs. Not once. Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan. Saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Pat, producer of the podcast over there behind my glasses.
Great to be here, Dylan.
He's enjoying a Peach Ashland, sponsor of the show, Adam Devine's Seltzer Company. We had to get on board.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's Divines.
Okay, so before we get into how we're doing, what we thought about the show, we have a fan favorite segment called PSAs. Mm-hmm. And if you don't mind, I'll just kind of, just jump in and put my neck on the guillotine for a sec here.
Go ahead.
You okay with that?
Can I mention that people need to go over to Patreon first, or are you going to do that?
It's going to be worked into the plug.
Oh,
yeah.
fair enough. Okay, I'll shut up.
Okay, so goes without saying, there's been a lot of controversy swirling around this franchise over the past week. We covered the Chris Harrison, Rachel Kirkconnell, and Rachel Lindsay drama on our Patreon pretty early in the week before we had, before all of the events had unfolded. And I think that was a mistake. Not because of anything we said specifically, but I think it was a mistake to cover it at all. This show has a major fucking ego problem. You guys see it. We see it. That's why we started the show. That's why this show is different from other Bachelor podcasts. We don't have any sincere or earnest conversations about anything that happens on this show because, and I can't believe I have to remind people of this, it's the fucking Bachelor. The reason why this show is dropping in ratings is because it has somehow forgotten that it is bottom of the barrel, mindless Monday night entertainment and has blossomed into this touchstone in reality television about cultural issues, be it mental health or bullying. And now we arrive at racism. To have a conversation about race in America within the context of The Bachelor is to severely limit the substance of that conversation. This is not in conversation with Toni Morrison and Cornel West. This is a show where 2 weeks ago we had women in oversized pumpkins paddling across a lake of sludge. They were then in squirrel suits digging for fake nuts, and then an episode after or before, I can't remember, they were told to get on soft helmets and beat the shit out of each other for a man's affection. This is not Pride and Prejudice. This is that Japanese game show where people run across the lake and they hurt themselves on those rocks.
Swipe out.
So, I am not saying that we do not want to have these conversations. These are important conversations. It's an important time in America, but we are not going to go in depth on them because it's not what you listen to this show for, and it's not what people want guys like me, Nick, and Pat to do right now. What people want us to do right now is to open our ears and listen. So that's what we're going to do. Not tonight. We have to speak. We have to talk about the show. We can't just listen. We have to have a conversation about what unfolded. But, surrounding this, I think, we're wrapping this up. This is the last we'll say on it.
Yeah, can you imagine the absurdity on a Facebook group about a stupid reality show? There was a lot of fighting going on there.
A ton of it.
Boy, 2021, crazy times.
Yeah, people really care.
But they shouldn't, not on our Facebook page. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's really got to stop. There's definitely some lunatics that have been removed, but I like. There is no free speech in our group. If I don't like what you have to say, you're gone. That's how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that goes for all of us individually.
Yeah.
That's another thing. That, like, we don't have like a show stance really. We get into arguments about real issues.
Yes, we all have different beliefs.
All the time.
Yeah.
I have very particular thoughts on this Chris Harrison issue that I'm not going to share. But
Hey, didn't we just go through this whole thing?
Oh yeah, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
Hey, just because I don't want this to go here to make friends down that road, spend a little bit too much time on social issues. Oh, very eloquent the way you placed our position.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
I have a fun take that I don't think will get us any hot water about that has to do with what took place with Harrison and Lindsay last week.
Great.
That won't get us. It won't serve up any controversy.
Excited to see whether or not that's true.
I think it was a hit job on Harrison. Get this. Mickey has been trying to get that old fart out of there, making $8 million a season.
Love it.
Right? So get this. All right. So a lot of people that don't know TV or the biz, that Access Hollywood show was probably recorded around 1 or 2 p.m. that day. That's normally when they have to wrap that up so they get the East Coast feed out, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that would mean what Chris Harrison said was edited. It was basically signed off on.
It wasn't edited. They played the whole thing in its entirety.
My point is they had a segment that would air on Access Hollywood.
Right.
What do you think? 2 people heard it before it aired, or 25 people and said, yeah, this is going to air.
Right.
And once it went to air, if you don't think that little sneaky Mickey knew, okay, there's going to be a certain amount of population that think, yeah, Chris is right. There's also going to be a certain amount of population that's going to say, it seems a little insensitive. He could word it better. But Mickey knew there'd be a greater number of people that would hit that Twitter feed and destroy this man.
Yes.
I love this. I can see the seed happening in my head. There was a higher up that was like, we can't put this out. It'll sink us.
Right.
And then they see a shadow cast over them. And he's like, no,
2
let him talk.
2 ears. 2 ominous ears.
Oh, and one last take on this.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's any secret. Matt James' season is a new low for Bachelor in the ratings. It has nothing to do with
In
him.
every metric possible.
Well, it was sitting at the 4.5 million. That it got a 1.25 share, which is, just put things in perspective. Season 8, because I did a little research here, was Bob Guinea's season. An average of 20 million people checked in each episode to see that fat, dumpy white guy bang 5 girls this season. So Matt's season was a little low for them. And what would stir up controversy to go check out what's happened over there on that Bachelor, other than some controversy with the host of 21 years getting the axe? I don't know. Call me a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But
you're usually supposed to say you're donning the tinfoil cap before you start, spewing out these truths.
if you don't think 10 million, I want to get the numbers on last night's episode. If it didn't double, I'd be shocked.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, we have increasingly become a visual medium as well. I am going to make us an actual tinfoil cap.
I love
Oh,
that.
nice.
Love that. Drop it in.
After
Effects.
one last note on Rachel Lindsay, because a lot of people came at me.
Because we're.
right.
I think Nick's got something to
No,
say.
just I mean a physical hat for future episodes.
Oh, got it. Excuse me.
Made out of actual tinfoil, not After Effects.
Sorry.
Okay, one last thing. A lot of people go, hey, Pat, you hate Rachel Lindsay, especially on that Patreon. They're like, hey, be mad at Chris Harrison. Why are you throwing all the hate on Rachel Lindsay? So I posted a little something.
And we did throw plenty of hated Chris Harrison.
We did indeed.
And Patrick's wife is African American.
Yes, and my wife hates Rachel Lindsay.
Yeah.
So the reason I can't stand Rachel Lindsay is there's a bunch of things that she's done, but the one that really bothered me and thought she was a fake, and I figured some of the new listeners might want to know this.
Yeah.
I was kind of friends with Demario Jackson for about 6 months there. We had him on a few times. If you don't know who he is, he's the guy who was accused of raping a girl on Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, and that little bird came in and said that she was his girlfriend on the show.
That one too. He explained that away. It made sense to me. But anyway, Demario told me, I'm not sure if it was on the show or if it was in off mic, he had said Rachel Lindsay at the top of her powers during that summer when he was exonerated, it got word to her saying, hey, you're a little silent on the socials
Exonerated of being a black man accused of raping a white
girl
woman,
while she's passed out on drugs.
Yeah.
And Colonel Olympius was not helping the situation at that point.
No, she was lying about it.
Because she had a publicist post, she was so drugged out, she didn't know what was happening to her.
Right,
okay.
yeah.
So anyway, Rachel Lindsay went radio silent on that when she should have stood up and said, look, They're accusing a black dude of doing this. And when DeMario reached out, I think, to Raven to say, hey, can you ask her if she'll make a statement or something? She said, he hijacked my season. She had nothing to say about this. And that man's life was kind of ruined. I'm not saying she could have solved anything. It certainly could have helped a little bit given her platform and stature.
Yeah.
That's my main reason. And then there's a bunch of other horrible stories about her, how she treats her friends and such, and generally what she thinks about herself.
I do remember when DeMario told him about that. It was off mic, and he followed it up with, don't share that on air.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah. So, I know that, it's our responsibility to just not speak on these things.
You're right.
To sum it up.
Right.
And go to patreon.com/another podcast network.
I told you I was going to weave it in. I was saying, fuck shit. We made a mistake by posting that episode. And if you want to hear us make any mistakes in the future, the big ones will be there, because we'll post things that we probably shouldn't post on patreon.com. And they're there. You'll be the only ones that can hear it if you pay us $5 at patreon.com/another podcast network.
If we get to 1,000 patrons by the end of February, we will re-release that episode.
Yeah, and we'll post the video of us at the Klan rally. Figure out how to move on from it, because I'm embarrassed right now.
It was a great time. It was a great time.
Okay. All right, let's get into the show. That is episode whatever of season
7.
25. Matt James is the Bachelor, and we are still at hotel nomenclature. Let's get to general thoughts. That's where we give our thoughts on the episode in general terms. Pat, let's have Nick go first.
Okay.
This episode was a bloodbath. We started with about 23 women,
Yeah.
I feel like, and now we're down to hometowns. I think they learned this season that once the girls get weeded away, the drama goes away. So we kept around a big herd for a long time.
Sure.
But at this point, it's silly. And then we saw at the end it really trickle off. We just had one-on-one.
Right.
Weird group date, no activity, no one beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
It was only okay. 62 knots.
Pat. Everything okay?
Give me a...
Choked on Ashland, presented by Adam Devine.
Okay, so I agree with everything that Nick just said. I will add with this season, and Tasha and Claire Makes My Skin Crawly season are suffering from cabin fever. I didn't realize how much I needed the outside world to help entertain me with watching this journey for love.
Yeah.
No helicopter journeys through mountains near the ocean. No excursions, just flying to Vegas just for one night. Just to get crazy.
Like Flavor of Love.
Exactly.
Or Tracy Chapman's
So
fast car.
this season has been very odd for me to watch, because I don't feel he has a connection with any of the ladies. It went from going at 0 speed to now light speed, where we're at hometowns. I'm confused by all of it. I'm just going to have to say 20 roses.
Yeah, I disagree. I do think that he has a connection with one person.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, the person who one of the reasons why this whole I don't want to call it a stink, but this hullabaloo arose is because she wins, right?
Rachel.
Yes, she wins. So now we're kind of just watching, an inevitability here. Really trying to find out who the next Bachelorette is going to be. But, all in all, it was kind of fun. I loved Heather, the abuse that she took, that we'll get to right now.
See, we can all laugh about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So anyways, 4 pots. You'll remember we last left off with the aforementioned star of Colton's season, the girl America missed, Heather. She has procured a minivan and now wants to find love with Matt. The story is that Hannah browned over some ham steaks, and Red Eye Gravy told her that she had to go and try to get on the COVID locked down season of Matt James' La Ventura.
She had to infiltrate that place like fucking solid Snake.
Oh, okay.
Metal Gear Solid. It's going to be a movie. People will
Oscar Isaac, one of my favorite actors. He's absolutely fantastic. You should go watch A Most Violent Year. Such a great film. But anyways, Hannah Brown, are you out of your fucking mind? What kind of advice is this?
Look, you think this is an insane thought, but Matt is actually praising Hannah Brown's opinion on the journey for love because it worked out so well for her.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind that N-bomb she dropped either.
No, he did for some reason. I remember that.
Yeah.
But wasn't she the girl that picked a guy who had a girlfriend and was only there to perpetuate his jingle career?
Yeah, he got a bad cut, though. But he is killing it with the dog food commercials.
Better Bowl. I wish I had it on cue.
It's okay. I got it.
Hanging by the door.
Meanwhile, Piper has a meltdown, and as a teenager typically does, she returns to tell on someone.
Yeah, so we spend a large amount of time on Heather. I don't know that we'll ever have an answer as to why, but let's go ahead and explore this. So Matt tells her that he needs some time, and yes, as you mentioned, this is when Piper has gone back, and Heather goes out to chat with some of the women who Matt has found to be kind and reasonable over the course of this journey. So they're to help with her nerves while she waits for his decision. Jasenia kind of leads the attack here, asking if she's ready for an engagement in a couple weeks. I love this this ivory tower of integrity that these girls are standing on, because there's such a huge chasm when fostering eternal love between a couple weeks and 8. You know what I mean?
It was insane heel turn from Jasenia.
Yeah.
She was our moral compass against MJ, who was one of the mean girl team. I was very proud of her. I thought she was poised, well spoken, despite her not having a chance in this competition.
Yeah.
And then this week she super kicks Marty Jannetty right in the kisser.
Yeah.
And now she's bad Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid, HBK.
Nikki,
she's riddled to Kaiser Sose.
Nikki, it's
The
like
usual suspects type choice.
oh yes. It's like what Tom Likas always said. No one hates women more than other women.
Well, let's speak on that. So Jasenia, just to go through the events that happen here, Jasenia is not convinced that she's ready for an engagement. Piper tells her to shut up, but to give her an apology first. Sierra C says, go cry in your interview. I don't want to hear your tears. And then Kit says, bitch, what are you doing?
I believe Serena doubled back and said, please leave.
Right.
Serena had the harshest line. She was like, we don't want to see your tears. Go tell it in the confessional.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Jesus
Can you
Christ.
imagine if Matt walked out? Wouldn't it have been wonderful? He's like, didn't we have a conversation about this last week?
Well,
Heather wins by default.
So,
Hey, one last thing. Piper, who I thought was a sweet song. I don't know if we got to what she said. She said she's really upset because Heather interrupted their very important conversation in which they were talking about her favorite Frozen character.
I like Elsa.
That's what she said.
Piper has also super kicked Marty Jannetty in the face for my liking.
Right, yeah.
I really liked her. We talked about how beautiful she was, despite Pat thinking she looked like she was 14.
Right.
But she has become extremely self-righteous, not just in this episode, but also on the social medias after this. She put out, with all the controversy going on, and I am just not going to be watching tonight's episode. She put out. She was like, just focus on how certain women are portrayed. She was like, instead of taking accountability, which has been the narrative through some of this controversy, she lashes out on other people. She gets ahead of it, actually, though, and people are taking her side. It's odd. She's evil. She super kicked Marty Jannetty.
What? What is her point?
She thinks that
She got a racist edit?
she said kicking Chris Harrison off the show was a start, but there needs to be systematic things put in place so the BIPOCs put on the show are not there for tokenism.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And made out to look evil.
Got it.
On the show. Nick knows too much.
Well, we're going to listen.
That's a great segment.
We are going to listen. By the way, I took a stem of mushrooms over the weekend. They were way too powerful. Way too powerful. Like the floor started, really fractaling.
Well, you
up in
shouldn't
my
take
face.
half the bag, dude. Take
sounds
one.
just
No, it was
about
just
right.
one stem, and usually that'll make me feel okay. But it was blue. I knew they were potent. But my friend put on this Disney package with thematically themed, just sonically. It's just like, when people are on drugs, don't do the we got to put on Planet Earth. It's like,
we got to put on Wizard of the Oz and sync it up to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Hey, I have a list of stereotypical trippy things we can do. Let's just start checking boxes. But there was a scene from Frozen 2. I'd never seen it because we've talked about it on Patreon. I don't like children's movies. They make me cry. I don't like to cry at children's movies, and children are not interesting. So we have to make up that they like do heroin in 7th grade, like Euphoria. But anyways, there were some scenes in that. I got to see Frozen 2. Have you guys seen it?
No.
It looks unbelievable. She's riding a horse on water and ice, and then she throws up this massive ice wall to protect her kingdom from a tsunami.
Hey, Dylan, could it have been the drugs that made the experience a little more?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
And I just want to hypothetically apologize for suggesting we do some of those stereotypical things. I'm that person.
Oh, God.
I love doing that things. I'm like, hey, you want to put on the Beatles and watch the iTunes visualizer?
Right.
Sergeant Pepper's. They really got trippy there.
Yeah, they did. To anyone doing psychedelics, I got 2 words. Go outside. Okay, so let's move on to more Heather. 15 minutes go by, and Heather is told to get back in the minivan, call her employer, and ask for her job back because she's not going to be on the show. You know who else is going to be on the show? Not sure. That's why we've got the roll call.
Dylan, I figured I'd be remiss if I didn't read the actual transcript of how Matt gave Heather her walking papers.
Yeah, okay.
He said, look, bitch, if I keep you around, they'll eat you alive, especially the one who loves Elsa. It's her favorite character from Frozen. Right. So there's the door, and I'll walk you out to your minivan.
Yeah.
Bon voyage. Bon voyage. Sorry.
Bon voyage. So I love, before we get to the rose ceremony, I love Matt apologizes to the girls, and they're sopping because of it. Gross.
Can we get a mop aisle nomenclature?
But I love that he tells the girls that he's proud of the way they handled Heather coming onto the show. Matt, they told her to go cry somewhere else. She's hanging in the hotel room right now. They didn't handle it well. They were abusive towards her. All right, so let's get to the rose ceremony and the subsequent roll call.
Okay. So I should mention that Piper and Michelle already have roses.
Yep.
Okay. So here's who stays. Are you ready for the roll call? All right, here's the roll call. Here's who stays. Bree, drop dead gorgeous. I told my wife she's my free pass. It didn't go well. Rachel, Rachel, not the racist. I don't know. Wherever you guys stand, I want to stay out of it.
We're listening.
Serena P. That scene of her being made out on the top of the car gave me a Woody. Kit, he should have picked her. Should have picked her. He'd be loaded right now. Jacinia, the Dominia, and Abby. Poor Abby. This isn't the right place for her.
So anyways, Abigail.
Hey, Dylan, before we get to Abby, I got to say who got sent home.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Bad hosting.
Chelsea, the model.
Right? Hand down.
She's been leaving $30,000 a gig on the table, so she's on her way to Milan. And then Serena.
She is, though.
Right. And Serena, the one with the very pretty dress. She was lovely.
Got it.
If you needed any further proof that's not Serena, Chelsea was in fact a model. Did you see her walk out of that place like it was the runway in Fashion Week? I mean,
Wintour's watching.
She crushed it. Hip, left, right.
Really?
With just a big fuck you pat in her eyes.
You know who doesn't have that much confidence? That's Abigail. She's feeling confident, though, the next morning about where she's at with Matt. Immediately following that, Shitface walks in and says the dates mean more than ever before. And after that, Abigail watches Serena go on her second one-on-one. Let's get to the one-on-one. Oof. Namaste. We meet Leah, the tantric yoga instructor. Serena is 45 pounds, extremely flexible, and he is as hard as a rock because of those things. But believe it or not, this makes her very uncomfortable.
For someone who despises tantric yoga, she really excelled at it.
100%, 150%.
Yeah.
She looks like a pro too.
Oh, absolutely. Before she confessed that she hated it so much, I told my girlfriend, I was like, Oh, like they didn't run this date by her. She just all of a sudden has the date where she's just awesome at yoga.
Right.
But it turns out, no, she hated it.
Yeah, she absolutely hated it.
I loved it. Hot little body.
Okay, so she says that she did not enjoy rubbing up against his walking stick the entire day, and Leah also weirded her out. This is fairly awkward after the yoga studio. They handle it okay. They cheers to never doing that again, and she says that she's not quick to lust or love.
Oh, she told him she wasn't going to be having sex in any fantasy suite anytime soon.
Right. That was the subtext. And that's not going to work out for this Christian.
Yeah.
That is not going to work out.
Oompa loompa, oompa-dee doo.
What's Pat pulling up on his phone?
Oh, I was just kind of something that would correspond with what I do if I was in Matt's position. She starts laying this groundwork out for me. This is what would have happened to her.
You'd pee on her?
See you later, dear. That's a toilet being flushed.
Why do you like pissing on women?
Extremely weak water pressure wherever he was.
You know what, though? This sad bastard, he did the exact opposite that a man should do because she's actually rejecting him. I'd be deeply offended by rubbing up against a girl. We're supposed to have some kind of compatibility. No, come on, dude. You got to lead a little bit. There's got to be some physical stuff going on here. I mean, this is what's going to happen in the boom boom room or a bedroom, right?
Well, it's the fantasy suite.
Well, not even that. Just you got to have some kind of physical attraction. She basically is reviled by having to rub up against this man for an hour.
Okay, so let's get to the night date because this is
Repulsed.
where I'm
Repulsed, forgive me.
really kind of seeing that she is
Not into
this
him.
guy. We head to the Woodland Spa. They continue with the chat about honesty and about how not fun that whole day was. And it just like, she seems like she's a little too smart for the show, and she seems to be put off by how, let's say, slow Matt is. I just don't think that she likes him.
She does. And let me tell you your first tell. Now, you know I know women pretty well. I wrote a whole book, Cracking the Code, How to Close More Ass for Less Money.
Okay.
Be released in 2021. One of the tells when you go on a first date, and this
Harper
technically
Collins.
is second date or what have you, is
APM.
what the woman is wearing and what she's done to prepare on that. Because you're still going to know each other. You got to put your best foot forward. She shows up with a fucking outfit that looks like she either works at the White House or she's got a job interview. That was not sexy at all.
And the degaff hair?
I wasn't going to say anything about that, but I one time went out with a girl. She made me take her to an expensive restaurant. She showed up with her hair still wet in a ponytail. Okay? She was not into me. Yet she got a full Katsuya meal out of me. It was like $150.
You know, can I say something? Actually, I want to save it for APS.
No. What were you going to say?
Patreon.com/anotherpodcast now.
I don't know if I'd
Do a
mind that.
tease.
I don't know if I'd mind that get up, Pat. As Drake said, sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on. That's when you're the prettiest. I hope that you don't take it wrong.
So, anyways, it's obvious that people on the show, what I was, I'll tease it. I just want to talk about dining in Los Angeles right now.
Oh.
Supporting local businesses.
You should.
Yeah, we went out for Valentine's Day, and listen, eating on a sidewalk is eating on a sidewalk. I have plenty of things to say about it. Patreon.com/anotherpodcast network. So, it's obvious that the people on this show talk about nothing to one another very often. Mm-hmm. But these two talk about that it was good that she said she didn't like it for 90% of this date. I don't know how much was on the cutting room floor, but they do not get to know one another in any shape or form. And I know that I'm being unnecessarily earnest about the show because it's the
Right.
Bachelor, but like, are you guys supposed to progress in a knowledge of one another at all? Or is Matt just too stupid and incapable of doing that?
Well, the game here, and it's really low-level playing here, like the aphrodisiac for him and moving forward with her is the fact that she hates him, and he feels that, and that's a turn-on. She's playing hard to get.
Cracking the code. He just cracked it.
Thank you. Hey, then they go ice skating, and I was disgusted by this. His fucking pants were so tight I could see the veins in his balls. He should never wear that again. The man has no sense of style.
All right, so it's preordained that he is meeting her family, and it looks like that's going to happen. She gets the rose. We will see and meet her folks next week. Next day. Matt mulls over his options during a Peloton-sponsored segment, and then we get to the group date. Bree is up first.
I should mention this is already a night date. How they're filming this stuff is odd.
They do this again.
Got me to thinking, whatever piece of shit segment they filmed during the day just hit the editing floor.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah, 100%. What are you going to do? You're trapped there all day. Of course you're going to film a day.
Well, they've had multiple day segments hit the
maybe
cutting room floor.
the Flintstone costumes didn't show up in time to work out whatever horrible bit they were going to do.
No, the date card actually said, "Can you keep a secret?" And they practiced doing torture to get information out of prisoners on
nice.
each other.
Oh,
Nice.
or here's a fun one. You know how they do the like the frog science experiments where autopsy?
Mm-hmm.
They did it to Heather's dead body. Funny.
What did they do to her?
Cut her open, looked at her organs.
And one
Funny.
of the more mean-spirited thing was Piper pulled out her intestines, just threw them against the wall. I was like, whoa!
That was probably the
Thanks for jumping in on this, Pat.
you're welcome.
Thanks, man.
that was probably the impetus for her spirit not leaving the hotel.
Thank you, guys. So, moving on.
Oh, you want to know who's on this date?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you show up for love and your limbs get ripped off as a toy.
Fun little edit that you wouldn't normally catch. Okay, so normally the date card would be written by Chris Harrison. Chris had a tough week. They had time, 4 days to try and edit him as much as possible. They didn't acknowledge the date card was written by Harrison or from Chris Harrison. It was a note showed up from Chris Harrison. They didn't say it. It just said date cards here.
I don't know that I buy that.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. You know how they work in these things when they try and edit you out. They do little subtle things.
But a couple times I felt like they could have definitely had him out when he came in, just like for a frame or two. But maybe it gives more credence to your.
I am workshopping that.
The theory. I don't know. But like, just put him in a couple times, get people talking. I don't know.
He took the TFC off the rack, but it's not quite on his head. Okay, so
can't wait till it's in studio.
Bree is up first. She tells him that she reached a point in the journey on the show where she had to have a conversation with her employer. And in that conversation, her employer said, "You are not on fucking maternity leave. You're on The Bachelor. You're fired." So it sounds like she worked for a sizable social media company. She said her work felt like a dream that reminded her of the sacrifice that her mother had made for her and her family.
As a single mother.
Yes. And Matt's worth leaving it.
I loved the move, though. I felt like it was very, very savvy. Hey, Matt, have this big albatross. Please put it around your neck.
Yep.
That is, I just washed my career down the toilet for
Right.
you, so please at least get me to the final two so I can have 500,000 Instagram followers.
I mean,
Well said.
I cannot. It's literally word for word.
Yeah.
Word for word.
It was a two-front, though. I love how she brings up the single mom. So she throws in there kind of the hard, tough life with the single mom. And then also I left my entire life behind. So you're going to pick me, right? Or you're going to look like an asshole.
And
so
yeah.
get in line, motherfucker.
Yeah, the single mom really impacts it. That's how hard I had to work for this dream life.
Yes.
That's what I'm giving
Well
up for
played.
you.
I mean, Bree's, I'm a fan of Bree. Mm-hmm.
All right,
You
so,
said a week ago we didn't know who she was.
So Piper drops
I'm a fan of her, though.
that he was just talking. He didn't realize what was going on. So Piper drops the L-bomb. Michelle loses grip on this process, and Abigail continues to get the absolute shit beat out of her. She sits down with Shaft.
I haven't
and
seen
says,
hearing impaired person get beat like this since John Jones, Matt Hamill.
Oh, man.
She says she's had a tough week. And he says, why? I don't know. Maybe it's because you gave me a first impression, Rose. Haven't said a fucking word to me since. That's why I'm having a tough week.
He's like, oh, yeah, I did.
He looks like Shaft.
Oh, don't get me started. He starts referring to her in past tense or his relationship with her. I don't know if you picked that up while they're talking. He apologizes. Then that leather jacket and that redundant turtleneck kick her the fuck out.
I love the term redundant turtleneck. So
he did her a favor, though.
The thing about Abigail, she's sweet, but she just rambles. Like, say clearly and concisely, like, it's been 6 weeks and we really haven't talked at all. But she's, a dead woman walking.
Just like Heather.
She says one of the most heartbreaking things in that car on the way out. She says, I feel like I'm constantly the person that makes men realize what they want next, but I'm never what they want. Abigail, we love you, girl. America loves you. You're a sweetheart. And thank God the universe does things for a reason. You're going to find somebody so much better than Matt. He's got a hard limiter. And he's going to cheat on whoever he marries. So you're going to do fine, girl.
But Dylan, I don't want to see her on Paradise either. I don't want one of these.
No, marry a veterinarian.
I don't want the lisperer crawling his way on that beach, or the guy who like tried to off himself twice, making nice with her.
Yeah,
all right. She
yeah.
seems like she's a kind of a.
She needs to meet a sweet guy. She has confidence issues.
Too much, and she's probably too much of a trusting soul.
Yes, she's naive.
Yeah.
Ben, I've never met anybody like you before in my life, and I honestly think that if we got married, I wouldn't order 3 pizzas from Domino's and eat them in 30 minutes and then throw them all up ever again, and then try to kill myself after.
That's so sweet.
Okay. Jesus, sorry.
He's like,
no, he deserves it.
You want to try out this new diet with me? We have 1 rice cake at 10 a.m.
And then an 8 by 8. Sorry.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, so
Rachel, aka Mila Kunis.
Yes.
He talks to her next, and I have some thoughts on this conversation. I think
didn't
she was
even-
doing a little boogie shoogie in the bathroom. A lot of sniffing in between those.
That's your note. She was on coke.
100%. He asked her how her family will deal with him, being a black guy or something, and she's like, they'll kind of like you. And she's like, hold on. I mean, they wanted me. Hold on, I got a monster rail staring at me.
Okay. All right, Pat.
I don't know.
I said it was either she was on cocaine, she had bad allergies, or she was really emotional about the situation.
Yeah, Occam's razor probably leaned towards Pat.
Allergies.
Yeah.
I think it was the Colombian boom boom.
So Kit sits down next. She tells him that she wants to accomplish a lot of things in life, and then it's going to be a long road before she's ready to settle down and have a family and children at the age of 25.
I would have taken her more seriously with these thoughts if she wasn't wearing those Gucci leggings.
What?
Those Gucci leggings. That's what expensive kids wear around town in Beverly Hills. They are hideous. No thanks, Kit.
My girlfriend has those Gucci leggings that she never wears, and she really, really encouraged me to follow up on last week's bit and come here in shorts and those leggings, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Who do you think's gayer, me or Pat?
Pat takes Botox.
Right.
Wouldn't it be great, though? All right, so Kit, I was analyzing her face last night, and I got some dirt on her. This could actually make it on Cheat Sheet or something about Bachelor Nation.
Oh, wow, Patreon.com.
This take, or true news, is so compelling. You guys would be fascinated by it. But anyway, before Matt kicks her the fuck out or whatever he's going to do with her, I wish he would have said, I'm into your wealth, but those leggings and the fact that you wear so much makeup, I have no idea what your face actually looks like.
Shall we get to the roses?
Oh, right.
Before we do, I actually thought this was Kit. Like, she was telling him all these things, knowing he was going to follow the process and you have to get married. She was trying to get kicked off right at this moment. She was like, oh, he sent Abby at home? I could make a graceful exit, make my play for BIP, and become the influencer I'm destined to be.
I don't want to see her back. This is masterful what she's done so far. I hope she doesn't, double dip.
We're talking about Kit?
Yeah.
There was a lot of help there. Can I just give it?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Tell us and then cut it out. I want to know.
No, you can leave it in. Because
But, no,
this
we'll
definitely
talk
didn't
about-
come
All right,
from...
fine. We peddle Patreon way too much anyways. This one you get for free.
Okay, so Kit's family is so well connected. The producers are actually friends of the family, and they told her, you're here till whenever you want to be, and you just tell us when you want out. And if you notice, it was so well timed to make her actually look perfect. She dumped him.
She dumped him.
Yes.
She is Tribeca.
She
She
didn't
is the city.
Yes. So
She dumped him.
she dumped him. So the producers, I don't know which ones they were, but it's multiple. The families knows them all very well. And this was just fun for her to just kind of come in and just play in the sandbox for a little bit.
It was clear as day. She
Oh, it was?
She
Okay.
had, well,
No, not
all the
that.
specifics, but that she was just having a good time with this, and she was not serious about marrying this man at all.
She was just recently allowed to get into watering holes. Very recently.
These Beverly Hills kids, they're in when they're 18.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Not at dive bars. You go to a dive bar, someone's like, my mother's from Tribeca. You'll get punched in the face. These people that work at dive bars hate rich people.
Well, they hate everybody, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Why
they
would
do.
Kit be going to a dive bar?
It's fun.
Because
It's
to be
ironic.
subversive, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I should mention at this point, whoever gets this rose on this night date, it's an automatic hometown. But we
Yes, so we know that the person that gets the rose will be sent into hometowns, and Bree, after telling Matt that earlier that day she had to resign from the job that made her realize how much her mother loved her family, watches as Matt hands the rose to Rachel, who I think spoke to him for a couple minutes.
I think so.
Not only does Rachel receive her golden ticket, she receives a private concert from, as far as Bachelor talent goes, this is probably about as good as it gets. I mean, we've actually heard these songs like in a Zales commercial or something.
But he would have been a real get in 2011.
Yes.
Oh, he's a real get anytime.
Well,
Soul never dies, Patrick.
I wanted to ask if I know that you were excited to see one of your favorite artists, Aloe Black, on The Bachelor, but I wanted to ask if you felt any profound sadness for how low he stooped.
Not at all. It's a paycheck way to up those streams. All of a sudden, people are like Pat said.
Yeah.
Some people think he's like from 2000. They're like, oh, I love "Wake Me Up." I love "Green Lights." I love that song that was the theme to that Entourage follow-up, How to Make It in America. Did you guys see that? They tried to make jeans.
No, I didn't.
Need your dollars. Dollars is all I need.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know that one.
Aloe Black is amazing. He's just so soulful. I really appreciate it. And I think it proves I'm not racist because he's black so much so that his last name is Black. So how could I be?
We're just listening right now.
I love Aloe Black. I even texted these guys and got no response. I ducking love Aloe Black. I'm so excited to even proofread.
I ain't goddamn fucking racist. I love Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
How's Snoop Dogg still around? Didn't he tell Oprah Winfrey's best friend that if she didn't shut up, he was going to fucking kill her, and he called her a bitch? He's hosting a game show on a network right now.
I love him.
It's not an even hand how we cancel these.
I love Al Jolson in blackface. Am I racist? Huh? I love Al Jolson in blackface. I ain't fucking racist. Shall we get to sassy little Kit going to Matt's suite for the second time?
Wow.
I'm going to take another crack at this, Matt. Get the picture.
We talked about this, but this is just a masterful performance. While the show is usually reserved for people from the flyovers, she salvaged her NYC elite reputation by stomping on his neck and saying, I don't need you. I am Tribeca. I am Queens Boulevard.
Isn't it fun? I mean, living out here, I've actually had friends, rich friends that have their kids like perform at the Hollywood Bowl with like a major act just because they know they're one of the manager's friends. It's crazy. Yeah. What you can do out here. It's basically what the rest of the country it probably is upset about.
Though Kit orchestrated a masterful exit, she really kind of mailed it in at the end here. She could not have acted less interested in getting out of here. She was basically at one point, she's like, so like, are you going to ask me if you can walk me out? Is that going to happen?
Yeah.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, she finished it off by saying, chop, Matt, I got to go. I got a 3-episode arc on 911. They start filming on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. I have a salad I need to pick up.
My dad's an agent at CAA.
And for those of you at home who aren't privy, it is not Rescue 911. That incredible
it's a
1980s
different show. It's a very different show. So let's get to the one-on-one date. It's going to be Jasenia.
Oh, that's what I screwed up during my roll call.
Yeah, Jasenia. Yeah. So she's nervous that Abigail and Kit were sent home. And she feels like she may be going home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Totally. 100%. So the day card says our love could take a turn. I mean, Jesus Christ.
How on the nose can you get?
But also, Jasenia, do not get in that car. Matt is not going to pick you, and he has no regard for other safety when he gets behind the wheel of a toy like this. We've seen it before, and we saw it again tonight.
He's a daredevil.
He's insane.
Well, both of them are kind of danger artists. Like, that was like insane how they were driving. They could kill one another.
Well, Matt, a.k.a. Tony Angelo, sets up the fact that they will be doing a little bit of drifting. Jasenia drives, like a kook for a little bit, but then Matt proceeds to destroy the rental. The mirrors are ripped off. The bumper is completely fucked. The man is a lunatic. He throws her on top of the hood of the Mustang.
Oh, so hot.
At her request. And can we get to the night date? Rachel, donning Velma chic, and the rest of the girls kind of begin softly trashing Jasenia. It's not unfounded. We're all thinking, the same thing. But Matt is throwing me off. In a rather evil series of events, they sit down at dinner. He asks, what should I expect when I meet your parents? A very dishonest tense he's using there.
He's like Regis Philbin revealing the answer to the $32,000 question. Quite the twists and turns he's giving.
I have it written. Then he slowly grabs the rose as she smiles from ear to ear. Then says, from the first night you've been my rock, can I walk you out?
Well, I got the transcript here. He says, I'm not a poet, but Jasin, yeah. More like Jasin, no. See ya.
Okay, so the producers, can I ask you, what is up with the...
I've been trying to make fun of that goddamn name for 8 weeks. Still haven't worked
8 weeks?
anything out.
Jasenia.
I don't know. What is this mandate that, like, we know you're going to throw, or we know you're going to send her home, but pick up the rose really slowly and then hold it in front of her as you're kicking her off the show. Why do you have to do that?
That's a producer thing, and that's the only thing that I like that he does that I miss from the past. They used to tease us. And then people with souls, or barely having, people pretending to have a soul, would not bother pick up the rose. They're like, I'm not going to do this to the person.
Right.
I really think it is like just an indicator of how tied to the puppet strings the lead is.
God.
How much they do this. And he is an empty vessel who rolls it in his hands, and he's like, he faints it at him. I don't know.
He starts like drawing on her face.
Sniff it.
It's yours. Can I get stock? Can I walk you out?
Hey,
no, it's D.
I know we're kind of wrapping this up, but I do want to say something about this because this moment got me thinking about it with Matt. I know at the top, I haven't been a big fan of his. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But when we make fun of the lisperer or the guy who admitted to trying to kill himself twice in the last year.
Shitty death bang, yeah.
They would have made far more interesting character studies as The Bachelor. Forgive me. When they said Hannah Brown was going to be the Bachelorette, I threw my remote at the TV and said, what? And she was a delight. You didn't know what that little whack job was going to do.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
All right, Tom.
And now we got Matt, and he's a total bore. So we got to get crazy people back, kind of helming the
Don't have an ego problem, right?
Right.
This show is trash.
Yes.
Make it trash. Make
Please,
America
that's what we
fall in
need.
love with this show again.
I want to have fun and laugh a little. I haven't laughed once.
But we still haven't.
He sounded like Tim Meadows and Dewey Cox. You never paid for drugs. Not once. Sorry. My favorite movie. Go.
I forgot.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
And you never paid for drugs. Not once.
Oh, but still, Pat, I would like to try out what you've been begging for years, and it's just like a solid fucking guy as the lead, like a confident man, like Matt's an empty vessel.
Matt's Play-Doh,
we've had these kids and Colton and Peter and stuff.
Brad Womack.
Brad, he was the first one.
He did it twice in a row, and the first time he didn't pick any of the girls. He just let him leave him. He left him at the altar. He's like, "Yeah, none of you guys are gonna work."
Yeah,
he was hated for that.
It sounds like kind of a jerk. Anyways, let's get to the rose ceremony.
Sure.
It's gonna be between Piper, Michelle, and Bree because Rachel.
And Serena already have roses.
They already have roses.
Would you like a roll call?
Yes, please.
All right, here's a roll call of the ladies who are staying. Bree, thank God you'd be an idiot if you said home. Piper goes home. Great news for her. Her parents were outside waiting in the car for her.
So it's okay, baby. Elsa went through hardship too. You have to rise to adversity. So Matt steps up, delivers the trademark line before hometowns that they're not taken lightly.
Right. Sure they're not.
They are. They're so pathetic and so fun. Mm-hmm. We had a convict on the last hometowns. He had tear tattoos. Dean's dad lives on rugs.
Hashtag whatever his
Gabriel
name is.
for the Bachelor.
Gabriel for the Bachelor.
So I for sure thought that Piper was going to keep moving on, but alas, she gets the trademark "Can I walk you out?" Now this was a big time "Can I walk you out?" They didn't say a fucking word to each other. He was just like, "I'm sorry, can I walk you out?" And she just got in the car and she said, "Let it go, let it." This is too much. Too much. So, this.
If it leads to you watching some of these incredible films that are guised as children, that rest under the guise of children's entertainment, then so be it, because they're wonderful.
Yeah, no, I know they're good.
Yeah,
I saw Inside Out. It was fantastic. I cried. I don't cry.
And that one insists upon itself.
Have you guys seen Soul? I was drunk. I saw the first 30 minutes of that. Oh my God, that is deep.
The world they create in 30 minutes to like lay the groundwork of what's happening in that film is fucking insane.
They're master storytellers.
But it makes sense to children with undeveloped brains.
Yeah, Soul's supposed to be unbelievable. I watched what's Chicano Batman? What's the one? Mexican one. What's it called? Mexican one. Dia de los Muertos. What's it called?
It's a Pixar film?
Pixar. Abuela. What's it called?
It is Batman?
No.
Raya?
No. Miguel sang the song.
I don't know.
Forgive me.
Mexican Pixar movie.
Sorry, I can't do that.
Fuck you. Mexican Pixar movie.
Coco?
Yeah, obviously. Coco. You get to the end of that? That is a fucking tearjerker. Oh my God. So let's wrap this show up. The scenes from next week package that they roll had the intensity of a Nolan movie. Someone eats a good amount of shit on a parachuting adventure. Not even like that looked like it could break a femur. And then the after the credits scene was just so much fun, wasn't it?
I fell asleep. What was it?
Michelle's a hoot. She just said, before we give this toast, I want to look good for the camera. I'm going to bang out a couple push-ups. She gets on the ground and starts doing push-ups.
All the girls had a good laugh. It was like some good, genuine, lighthearted fun. Much needed.
You got to stick around for those credits.
You got to. It was a feel-good moment.
Yeah. Hit the heart. Much like Coco. So anyways, guys, we'll be back next week with another brand spanking new episode of this here show. Remember, patreon.com/another podcast network is where you hear all of the fun, fantastic mistakes we make as broadcasters and buddies. Go to facebook.com and stop fucking arguing with people.
Oh, one thing. Guys, you got to save us. We're down to 4.5 stars. A bunch of people based on our behavior or our antics from last week. People went in there and they just boy, that is such an angry.
Are you kidding? What happened? What'd they say?
No, they just hit us with 1 stars. So anyway, guys, you got to combat that. Hopefully, you haven't turned off this episode. Please go in there and give us 5 stars. You don't even need to write anything. Just we got to fight off these haters. Please, 5 stars.
Holy shit! I thought that we were just in the clear for eternity.
Me too.
Wow. Yeah, we're down to 4.5, guys. You got to get in there. All right, we'll see you soon. I'm Dylan. Say goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye.